There's one thing that's getting in the way of your networking, and I'm going to tell you what it is in this episode. I talk to people all the time who are struggling with networking. And when they tell me what they're struggling with, I realize it all comes down to one thing that's getting in the way, and it's their mindset. Now, that may sound kind of woo woo or very hard to pin down. What does that mean that their mindset's getting in the way? Well, today I'm going to tell you what that means. I'm going to tell you how to fix it. I'm going to talk to you about the 4 mindsets that I've explained to people in my book, The Fast and Easy Guide to Networking for Introverts, or in my ebook, which is 15-minute networking. All of those are things that are out there to help you become better networkers. But in both of those, I talk about 4 mindsets. So I'm going to talk about those 4 mindsets today, how they impact networking. And I'm actually going to give you a bonus mindset. This is one I haven't put out there in print or in any of my materials before, but it's one I've talked about in some of my other episodes and in my newsletter. But let's talk about the 4 mindsets of networking first and talk about how these get in people's way. So the 4 mindsets are the giving mindset, the small mindset, the consistency mindset, and the easy to help mindset. I'm going to talk about each one of these. First, the giving mindset. One of the reasons that people say that they don't like to network is because it feels like asking people for favors. And that feels awkward, and people don't like to do that. People think, hey, if I was being asked this, I probably wouldn't want to help this person because, again, it's awkward. I don't really know this person, or they're asking me to do something for them. They're asking me to do work, basically, help them. And I just don't feel good about that. So people think about that when they go to network. They feel like other people are going to think that way about them. And so the way to get over this is to get into a giving mindset. If you can get into a giving mindset, then what that means is you're going to try to give to others before you ask them for anything. And what this does is it takes away that awkwardness, because you are trying to find ways to help other people. And when you help other people, they're naturally going to want to help you. You won't even have to ask them to help you. In a lot of cases, they're going to ask how they can help you. So if you think of networking as something you're going to go into as a way to give to other people, it's going to take a lot of that awkwardness away, and it's going to make you feel more comfortable. It's also going to make you feel better about it, and it's going to make networking a lot easier. So anytime you're feeling like, ooh, I don't like networking, it feels icky, it feels like sleazy or slimy, change your mind and start thinking about how you can give and help other people. And that's going to take care of a lot of your issues and your limiting beliefs in your head. So the second mindset is the small mindset. This is something that people say when they tell me they don't have time to network. They just can't get it done. It seems overwhelming. And what I ask them is, well, what are you doing? And they say, well, I have to sit down on the weekend. I have to come up with this list of people. I have to, figure out how I'm going to contact them. I have to send out all these messages and emails. And then, I just don't have time to do that. You're thinking about it too hard. You're making it too big. Networking is something that you can do a little bit at a time. You can send one email at a time. You can have one phone call, one meeting at a time. You can basically sit down and spend 15 minutes a day trying to reconnect with people and get a lot done when it comes to networking. So if networking feels overwhelming, if you're running into problems like I don't have time, whenever you say that is the key, that you need to change your mindset and get a much smaller mindset, meaning break it down into the smallest possible thing you can do, and then do that. And don't worry about doing all the other stuff. Just do that once. I always tell people, think about spending 15 minutes a day on something. And the reason why I say 15 minutes a day is because there are 1,440 minutes in a day, and 1% of that is 14 minutes and 14.4 minutes, 14, whatever. It's almost 15 minutes, right? So the point being, 15 minutes is about 1% of your day. And so if you can think of it like I only have to spend 1% of my day doing something that's really going to benefit me, provide me a lot of opportunities, it helps you get over that feeling of I don't have time and this is too much. I can't get it done. Now, what goes along with the small mindset is the third mindset, which is the consistency mindset. Because I hear people say, or they'll respond when I say spend 15 minutes a day on this, they'll say, well, they can't possibly get anything done in 15 minutes a day. And if you only did it one day out of the year or one day out of the month, yeah, you probably would not make a lot of progress on your networking. But if you can spend 15 minutes today and 15 minutes tomorrow and 15 minutes the next day and 15 minutes every day for a month, then you're going to be spending, in a week, if you do it over the course of a week and you do 15 minutes, you're going to be ending up with like 105 minutes. So like an hour and 45 minutes. You're almost spending 2 hours a week if you just do 15 minutes a day. So if you start and do a little bit, but you do it every single day, you're going to start to see a lot of results. You're going to make a lot of progress, but you have to keep doing it. You can't just do it one time and then, quit or not continue to do it and then say, oh, it didn't work for me. Your 15 minutes thing didn't work. It's like, yeah, of course it doesn't work if you do it one day. It's meant to be something you do every single day and the results are going to compound. So again, if you're feeling like you're not making progress, these two go together. Get smaller and do it consistently, and you'll start to see more progress. You'll also not feel overwhelmed. You're not going to burn out on it. It's going to be something that you can continually do and make a habit out of it. The last mindset, and this kind of goes with the first one, but this one is called the easy to help mindset. And what I mean by this is in the giving mindset, what I was talking about is be someone who wants to give first. And when you give first, like I said, you're going to have people turn around and they're going to say, what can I give to you? Or how can I help you? It's called the principle of reciprocity. And the principle of reciprocity was in the book Influence by Dr. Robert Cialdini. And he talks a lot about, as humans, we are wired to reciprocate. It's basically how we evolved, because people couldn't survive in our early sort of days as humans without helping people out. And so we have a natural inclination to help each other, especially when somebody has helped us first. We just don't like to have the karmic scales out of balance. So we want to help other people. Now, that being said, we want to help other people, but those people need to be easy to help. And what I mean by that is if you ask somebody to do something for you, or if they ask, what can I do to help? And the thing you tell them is so hard for them to do, they're not going to do it. They're going to find ways not to do it. And so in networking, the example I give here is, let's pretend that you helped a friend and the friend's like, hey, how can I help you? And you say, well, I'm trying to find a new job. Here's my resume. Could you give it to somebody? Okay. If somebody does that to me, what goes through my head is, number one, I don't really even know how good your resume is. I don't know how good you are at this job. I mean, maybe I know you and we've talked and I kind of know what you can do, but that's okay. Let's say I know all those things and you're perfectly qualified and I feel like you're great at what you could do. Now I got to go find somebody to give that to. I'm just thinking, who do I work with I could give it to? Who do I know that I could give it to? I've got to do a lot of sort of mental gymnastics to come up with who I'm even going to give it to. And then I got to find that person. I got to connect with them. I got to explain to them why I'm giving them this. I got to ask them to now help me help you. So now I'm going to ask for help when I haven't really given anything to that other person. So it's getting really complicated as I talk about it. And that's what goes through people's head when you hand them your resume. A different thing you could do is you could say, hey, I have a list of 10 companies I'm interested in. Here's that list. Is there anybody you know at any of these companies that you might be able to introduce me to? Now, they may look at that list and say, I don't know anybody. But they may say, I don't know anybody, but I know somebody at a company like one of these companies. Would you like to meet that person? Yes, great. Sounds good. Maybe it's not on your target list, but it could be an opportunity. Perfect. Or I do know somebody that works at one of these companies. Let me send an email and introduce you. That's all I have to do, right? If I'm going to help you out, I got to send one email and I can connect you with somebody else. I help your network grow. I've helped you. It was easy. That's what being easy to help is all about. So you need to think about how you can give somebody something to do to help you that's easy for them to do. Okay. And so again, if you're asking people to help you or they're saying, what can I do? And you tell them and they're like, ooh, they never follow through. You really need to think about what you're asking and see if you are being hard to help. And then think about how you can make it easier. I gave you an example, the target company list. That's what I just explained. We've talked about it before, talked about it a lot in my newsletter. That is something you should have if you're interested in new roles. The list of companies that you would like to meet people at, not necessarily work, but meet people at those companies so you can figure out if that's the place you want to be or if there's opportunities or if there's other connections to be made. Okay, so review the 4 mindsets. First of all, the giving mindset, then the small mindset, then the consistency mindset, and finally the easy to help mindset. Those are the 4 mindsets I usually use whenever somebody's struggling. I try to reset them and make them think about these things and change their mind about this. I said I was going to give you a bonus mindset. And this is what I call the golden rule. And it's the golden rule of networking, but it's actually the golden rule of life. Because people will say, I don't know if I should send this message to people in my networking, that I'm networking with. I'm trying to connect with this person. I don't know if this is a good message to send, or I don't know if this is a good thing to say, or I don't know if this is a good thing to ask. What I always tell people is if you run up against that and that's slowing you down or you're not confident in what you're doing, apply the golden rule. Basically say, how would I want to be treated if somebody were networking with me? If I were about to send this message to somebody, or let me turn around. If I were going to receive the message I'm about to send, would it be something I would respond to? And if you answer yes, then okay, send it. If you go, no, I probably wouldn't respond to a message like this, then change your message. Think about how you would want to be treated and treat others that way. Generally, if you think about that, you're going to get past a lot of your sort of, again, limiting beliefs or mindset objections that you have. If you just apply the golden rule, if you treat others the way you'd want to be treated, you're probably going to get past most of your networking obstacles. So that's the last bonus one, the golden rule of networking. It's the golden rule of life. Most cultures have it. Most religions have it. It's pretty much how we all get along. We try to treat others the way we want to be treated. It's not rocket science. A lot of what I talk about when it comes to networking is pretty straightforward. When I explain it to people, they'll say things like, oh, that's so simple. It is simple, but it's not easy. You have to put in the work. You have to get your mind right. And you have to really think about how you want to treat others and treat them the way you want to be treated. That's all for this week. Hopefully some of that helped you. Maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe it'll help you get over some networking obstacles. I'm here to teach you to be a better networker. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to my newsletter, my podcast. Follow me on LinkedIn. If you have questions, leave them in the comments or send me an email. I'm here to help you. Have a great week. Meet some interesting people and always be connecting.